Okay, second time trying to make this video. The first one did not upload appropriately. So I'm finding myself in my room where I like to do my paperwork. I've got a desk over here to the side and a printer. And so I really like to, just relax and chill in my room. Okay, so the video that I wanted to make was about child preferences and the questionnaires that are asked for. And this is for for our agency, they come out for a home assessment before they actually do a home study, is my understanding. The documentation that they gave us beforehand is the questionnaire and the child preferences. We didn't really go over that during the home assessment, but I imagine that it's useful for the home study that will be happening. And so I'll go over some of the things on the child preferences. Let me get that started here. Okay, so child preferences, it's asking you the minimum age, the maximum age, female or male, and siblings. So yes to those or no to those. And then any additional notes that you want to put on there. I didn't check off female just in case, like that's not, we're very specific on the kids, the kids that we would like. There's a sibling set, and then there's one individual one. And so we'll see what, what happens. Of course, we know that if they get adopted sooner, that is great. That is good news. But if they are still waiting for a forever family, then we want to be able to at least put in our home study for them. And if we don't get it, that's okay. So first it's going to ask about ethnicity. Will you consider, or would not prefer? So it's going to ask those three things for each one, that each topic that I'm going to be talking about. So the next one is, so ethnicity, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, multi-racial, multi-ethnic, and then it goes into race, American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, Black or African American, other race, Pacific Islander, unable to determine, unknown race, and white. Going into religion, same thing. Those three options: Catholic, Jewish, Eastern religion, Islam, other, none, Protestant, and then going into behavioral medical, ADHD, allergies, autistic syndrome disorder, chemical dependency, commercially sexually exploited, and then cruelty to animals, destruction of property, eating disorders, Inorius, Inocorporus. I'm probably saying them wrong, but even having to study these, like, it's just kind of difficult. So not being able to hold their bladder, or not being able to hold their bowels. That's basically what those are. Fetal alcohol syndrome, fire starter, gang involvement, HIV, AIDS, history of chronic lying, history of theft, homicidal threats, intellectual or developmental disabilities, LGTB, medically fragile, mental health issues, physically aggressive to adults, physically aggressive to peers, physically challenged, non-ambulatory, physically disabled, pregnant or has their own child, public masturbation, running away, STDs, self-mutilation, sexual offender, sexually acting out, sexually active, sexually reactive, sexually abused, sexually aggressive, special dietary needs, um, special medical needs, um, suicidal threats, suspended or expelled in the last 30 days, truancy, verbal aggression, work with biofamilies, um, juvenile justice involvement. Okay, and then going into adoption, foster home, interest in adoption. We put would not prefer because it says adoption only as an option, and that's basically what we're going for, which is straight ticket, straight adoption, matched adoption, adoption through foster care, foster home, interest in adopting sibling groups, and adoption only. Does not want kids planning to reintegrate. Okay, and then school district, it asks what the school district is, the elementary school, the middle school, the high school, and if these are charter schools. Up to the right, it says that. Are you or your spouse a part of a Native American tribe? Yes or no? And that's really important if you're wanting Native American children, because there's certain protections that they have to where they can't just have anybody adopt them. They have to have very specific criteria met. And so if you are Native American, then you may qualify for those kiddos. Okay, so that covers the child preferences. Each caregiver has a questionnaire that they have to complete. And so it's going to ask for your name, the date, your address, a cell phone for both of the caregivers, or if there's one caregiver, one, the square footage of your home, the number of bedrooms, the number of baths, list the square footage of each foster child's bedroom, describe the foster child bedroom, so just a brief description of what will be in there, and then describe study areas for foster children, so it could be in their room, in the kitchen, in a little study nook, or whichever. Describe recreational areas available for foster children. Describe housekeeping standards of the home. Are there any swimming pools and trampolines? What is the foster family's water source? Are there pets, their names, and their breed? And then, do all pets have necessary current vaccinations? Yes or no? The next part is, again, talking about the school district. So the middle school, the elementary school, the high school, their addresses and their phone numbers. The next question is going to be the hospital closest to the foster home. Ours is 5.3 miles because it says the distance. And then the caregiver's cars and how many seatbelts are in the car. Does it have inspection and registration current? And is there a copy of the insurance on file? Are vehicles in good working condition? Yes or no? If no, plan to ensure safe transportation of children. Are there firearms in the home? Yes or no? If yes, where are these firearms stored? What lock mechanisms do you use for these firearms or weapons? Where are the medications stored in the house? What locking mechanisms do you use for the medications? Do you have refrigerated, locked storage for medications requiring refrigeration? So for parents, for caregivers with children who have like psychotropic medications, those have to be double locked. So even if it's in the refrigerator, it's got to be in another, it's got to be locked twice. So one lockbox is going to have to be inside the other. Same thing with the guns. The ammunition has to be separate from the firearms. So in completely different locked mechanisms. We have ours in the ammunition in the garage and the firearms in the safe. So those are locked separately, but also not even in the same room. List of employment you've had since you were 21, including the ending salary and the reason for leaving and the position held in what city and state. So that is, it's a long list, depending on your age, unless you've had the same employer for the last 50 years. Okay, so then it asks for the monthly income of the home, the monthly expenses of the home, and have you completed a monthly expense report provided by the agency? Yes or no? Have you provided proof of income for the last 60 days? Yes. Can you provide your two most recent bank statements or previous year's tax return? Has law enforcement been called to your house for any reason in the last 5 years? Yes or no? What address did you reside when this occurred? If your response was yes, please explain. Then it's going to ask if there's an emergency backup person. So this would be like somebody that you would call that would be willing to submit a background check and to assist in a case of emergency to prevent you from caring for the children placed in your home. Okay, so it's in case of an emergency that prevents you from taking care of them. So it asks for their name, their address, their phone number, city and state, zip code, date of birth, relationship to the family. Have you submitted a background check authorization form for this person? We put no, but we submitted one right away. If you have any frequent visitors, they want you to write those down and probably want you to have those people have a background check. And this is if they are around the foster children 2 or more times in a 30-day period, which frequent visitors are going to be included in there. That would be grown biological children and their spouses, grandchildren, best friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, babysitters, Bible study members, parents of friends, Little League coaches, neighbors, extended family members. And it says, are you married? Yes or no, date of marriage. How do you demonstrate affection and love towards your spouse? What are the strengths in your relationship? And what do you do to strengthen your relationship? What weaknesses do you feel your relationship has? What you've been married. They said that wrong. Have you been married before? Yes or no? Have you had any previous significant relationships? Yes or no? That would include, significant would be if you lived with them, created a child with them, being engaged, or dating for more than 2 years. What is your relationship like with your former spouse, former partner? If applicable, what was the reason your previous marriage or significant relationship ended? What did you learn about your previous marriage, significant relationship that would help ensure strength and stability in your current relationship? How satisfied are you with your current sexual need? How satisfied are you that your current sexual needs are being met? Do you feel that you satisfy your spouse or partner's sexual needs? Yes or no? And how do you know that your spouse, parent, or partner is satisfied? Do you currently have any, or have you previously used pornography? Yes or no? If yes, please explain the need for use, frequency, impact on your marriage and or family relationships, and future implications on fostering. How healthy are the relationships between you and your children? Will your biological children be supportive of your desire to foster? Yes or no? Is your biological children involved in the lives of the foster, or will they be involved? Yes or no? This is a long one. Okay. Okay. If yes, what capacity and how often will contact occur? Describe the attitudes of your children towards foster children. Are you a citizen? Yes or no? If no, where's the country of citizenship? Are you legally allowed to live and work in the United States of America? Yes or no? List all the addresses you've had over the past 5 years and the length of time spent in each address. So it's asking for like the duration, so not necessarily between this year and that year. they're looking for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, etc. How long have you been considering fostering? What initially caused you to consider opening your home to a foster child? What do you hope to accomplish by fostering? How does your family and close network of supporters feel about your choice to foster? And what is your willingness to foster? Is this something you truly want to do? Have any family members had a history of substance abuse? Has any previous abuse, neglect been successfully dealt with emotionally? Yes or no? Document quality of relationships you have had with your parents growing up. Document quality of relationships you currently have with your parents. Document level of involvement foster grandparents will have with a foster child. What was your relationship like with your siblings as you were growing up? What is your relationship currently like with your siblings? And do any of your siblings have issues that would prevent them from being around foster children? Yes or no? If yes, what are those issues? Discuss the extended family's attitude towards your desire to foster. How supportive would the extended family be of fostering? And will extended family serve as support system for you? Yes or no? Explain your answer. Has any foster families had a history of mental health issues? What current health issues, including mental health issues, does each household member have? What impact will any of the above items have on your ability to care for or be around foster children? What prescription medication are household members taking and for what reasons? Where did you grow up? What did your parents do for a living? What characteristics were most admired and disliked of your parents? What is the best memory from your childhood? What is the worst memory of your childhood? How were you disciplined as a child? How were you disciplined as a teenager? How do you feel about the ways in which you were disciplined, and how has that impacted your parenting of your own children? Document any history of abuse or neglect you experienced during childhood and how that will impact your ability to work with abused and neglected children. Do you attend church? Yes or no? If yes, where do you attend? What will expectations be of foster children attending church with you? How will you respond to a child who does not want to attend church? How willing are you to respect and encourage a child's religious affiliation? What opportunities will you give a child for religion and spiritual development? Do you have any religious beliefs that prohibit certain medical treatments? Yes or no? If yes, what will your plan be to ensure a child's medical needs are met? Describe your experience in working with children and youth. What disciplinary techniques do you use for your own children? Removal of, okay, let's see. Oh, why do you feel these techniques are effective? What modifications will you make to individualize the disciplinary methods you use on a foster child to ensure efficacy? Foster child cannot be physically disciplined. What disciplinary techniques will you use with foster children? Are you willing to comply with the agency discipline policy, which is no physical discipline? Why or why not? What are your expectations of children and youth in care in the following areas? Behavior at home, behavior at school, behavior in the public, grades, eating habits, social skills, friendships, dating, cleanliness, communication, affection, interaction with foster parents, unsupervised time. How will you react when a child does not meet your expectations in a given area? What is your understanding of the dynamic of child abuse? How supportive will you be in facilitating the healing process with a abused child? What is your understanding of the dynamics of separation and loss? In what ways do you feel a child will be impacted by separation and the loss of their family? Have you ever experienced separation and loss personally, yes or no? If yes, describe experiences and how they were successfully dealt with. What will you do to help facilitate the grieving process in a foster child placed in their home, in your home? Are you interested in adoption? Yes. Do you have disabilities? Yes or no? If yes, what are they? What is your motivation to adopt? Do you have fertility issues? If yes, explain. What are your attitudes of your family? What are the attitudes of your family members towards adoption? In what ways do you feel a victim of abuse, neglect will be affected? How do you feel towards the perpetrator of abuse, neglect on a child? How willing are you to work with the foster child's biological family? How willing are you to encourage contact between the foster child and their biological families? This is including parents and siblings. In what ways will you be supportive and positive with the child in respect to their biological parents and siblings? If you have experienced abuse or neglect yourself, how will this impact your ability to work with a child who has had similar experiences? What community resources are available to assist a foster child while working through their issues related to abuse and neglect? Almost done. What are the attitudes of your extended family towards adoption? So some of these are repetitive from foster care to adoption, but you still have to answer them. What are your plans and expectations for adoptive children? And then you want to list, it says, list the names, addresses, and phone numbers of your acquaintances below. And so you can put a relative, and then you can put 3 friends or acquaintances. Then you can put clergy, school, or a community person. So that includes all the documentation. So this would be in preparation for a home study, but we haven't had the home study yet. We had a home assessment, which is a person who comes and delivers the additional paperwork, finalizes and licenses for the CPR and first aid. Some online studies were needed prior to, and you pay $34 to get that certification for the CPR and the first aid, which is a combination of those 2 trainings that I just mentioned. And we will see what is needed. There were more documentations and more questions in that home assessment, but for the most part, it was questions about our health, forms that we need to submit to our health provider so that they can fill out, information about the house, posters that we need to have on the walls, like to report any physical or any kind of abuse or neglect. And then also, if anybody wants to make a report, like against our house, there's a phone number there. There's also a floor plan that was created that we put, it was already ready before the home assessment, and we put it on the wall, so it's ready to go.